Prime Minister and the others were to do it. Because as we said earlier, people on St. Catherine. So basically what we're saying is all persons in St. Catherine should not leave the parish of St. Catherine. We could do it for Hanover, we could do it for St. James or anywhere else, or we could do across the board, or we could do just a community like we did Bull Bay, 7 Miles, and Cornpiece in Clarendon.
Because what they are saying, they don't want you guys to wait until the suddenly to lock down the place, just as when, you know, a person may reach to expose everybody. If it's not there, then it's possible that you still can lock down the area so that it does not go there or continue to spread. So maybe you could raise that concern.
That's an intelligent question, whoever asked it, because the truth is, the medical team, the doctors who assess and analyze the situation will tell you that even though you don't get a lot of cases, the virus lags for about 2 weeks. So the virus could be under the surface, spreading. And so someone may say, why are you locking down Hanover when you don't have a case? Or you lock down St. Thomas when you only have 2 cases? One of the good things about the public health people is that they do something called contact tracing. Contact tracing means once you have a positive case, they track down everybody who was linked to that positive case.
Right.
They track down where they went, and Jamaican people travel a lot. We move from parish to parish. We're like
most definitely,
right? We have a girlfriend over in another parish. We have a cousin in the other parish. So someone who is positive, one of the things I've noticed is that when you, and therefore they expose these parishes. So even though you don't have a case, the contact trace could show that we may need to take action based on who they have been in touch with and where they have gone. And so we could actually do that because the virus is there even though it's not showing.
How long does it take for you to, after you test for the COVID-19, how long do you take to get the results?
So normally we would say within 24 hours, but we could do it within 12. I mean, it depends. We test in batches. So I did my test, by the way, and got negative this week. So
congratulations. Thanks. I'm happy to know that. Congratulations.
Right. I think it's important that as one on the front line, you know, I have to go out there and motivate the people who are on the ground. And so I put myself at risk, but I understand that's the nature of the work, right? So I did my test, and I must tell you, it's not pleasant, but it's doable.
Your test is not pleasant?
Yeah, it's not very pleasant, put it that way. But I'm not discouraging. If you have to do it, you have to do it. They put a swab, they call it. It's like a Q-tip that you use to clean your ears, right? And they put it in both of your nostrils, and it goes right up to the back, almost the back of your throat or the back of your head.
Wow.
So it goes right through the passage, and then they twirl it a little to pick up the substance around here, and then they put one in your throat through your mouth. So when I did the one in the nose here, first of all, I don't really like going to the doctor, right? So I shut my eyes. It's like when I do a blood test, I don't look at the needle because I'm afraid.
Right.
But I mean, when they put it and it hits the back, you know, the nurse said to me, I just want to tell you that you're going to see twinkly stars when it touches the back. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad, but it was a little uncomfortable.
It sounds like it bad. It sounds bad to me. So because I don't want to reach to that stage, I think it's best me stay home so that I don't have to be
but you know,
exposed.
The staff, the nurses and doctors are amazing. Our Jamaican.
I'm so proud. Can I tell you how proud I am? Let's talk about the people who have recovered, because you have a lot of people who have also recovered. So I'm extremely proud of the work that they are putting in. So let us talk about the recoveries. And I also have a question I don't want to forget. Meanwhile, you're talking about the recoveries. I want you to also elaborate. When we see, they say Jamaica now has 160 cases and 20 recovered. Is it that I must take away the 25 from the 160?
Right. So when we, yes, well, we track the 100 and odd cases, and that is all.
And that would be the total amount.
That's the total amount that have gotten COVID.
Okay.
The recover we keep as a separate category. So we have just over 20. I think it's about 21 or 22. I need to check, but it's over 20 recovered. And we have 163, I think, the last time I saw. I know we're supposed to get an update shortly. Maybe after this program, I'll get that. And we try to keep the public informed. Now, we have lost, unfortunately, 5 persons. 5 have died. What it shows is that most people recover from COVID-19. Most persons.
That's
and like
good.
I said, people who die, unfortunately, are normally the older population and people who have underlying sicknesses. So, you know, as I say, hypertension, diabetes. I mean, we have a 79-year-old who passed. He had some other conditions. We have a 40-year-old, but he had some other underlying conditions.
Sorry to hear that.
So it's so important that if you have a situation already, you have to be extra careful. The kids tend to get through very quickly and easily, but very importantly, one of the reasons why we suspend school is that the kids, while they will overcome COVID for the most part, they are very big spreaders of it, because they, you know, our children, they don't necessarily wash hands and take precaution. They jump and play around and touch everything.
Most definitely, and then they bring it home.
And they bring it right home and they give it to grandmother, grandfather, mommy, dad, if they have it. But they spread it very rapidly because they pick it up and they don't observe a lot of the hygiene practices that we say is important. So we have
will
to
they be
teach them.
right? We have to teach them, because I constantly teach my kids not to touch, not to do. They have a tendency to touch everything, but they are kids, so I understand. So is it safe for me to ask you, will school be open back on the 20th of April as was said before, or this is also something we have to take into consideration and maybe push back?
Well, the Minister of Education, Minister Samuda, will speak more definitive to that, but I believe I can frankly say that it's unlikely. But because it's really a matter of how you manage the risk, and we're already close to that, and we believe we still have some ways to go to overcome the challenge. I mean, we have the homeschool that's taking place. It's working for the most part, based on the reports I've heard from the minister. But, you know, it's important that we protect our children, and it's important that we protect those who they go home to. And as you can see, Spice, throughout the world, many schools have been suspended until the new term, which is in September.
Here, they have suspended it for the rest of the year here in Georgia.
Exactly. So it is one of the strategies, because our population at that level, that cohort, young people, are massive and they move around a lot. And remember now, the solution is to prevent movement. I know it's rough for them. One of the things that we have to encourage is, what do they do at home? Because they're not accustomed to it, just like us as adults who go to work. So apart from the school work, one of the things we have to promote is, how do we keep them engaged, keep them occupied, you know, and that's something that we all have to play an important role in, giving them a little more time.
All right. I think I've covered most things. I'm trying to read on social media now, because they're saying we're ignoring them and not answering questions. So if people within your office can help me as well to go through some of the questions that are coming up on our screen, it would be good for us to answer from the public. Okay. Someone in your office can also help. My son not going to school. Someone is asking if you can contract the COVID-19 virus twice. So if you catch it before, if you can catch it again.
Right. So, you know, it's a new virus. They call it the novel coronavirus. It's from a family of viruses that have been around for a while. What is coming out is that there are countries now reporting that persons can catch it twice, but it's very rare. The general view is that if you get it, you have resistance to it, and you're unlikely to catch it in the immediate future, in a year or 2 years. But because it is new, the decision around that is not yet the case. So I've read in a few cases where a person says they have caught it again. But for the most part, once you have it, it seems as if you have built up enough antibodies not to have it, at least in the immediate future. One of the things that I should mention too, Spice, is that once you have it, you have to ensure that it's out of your system and it doesn't have a relationship to how you feel. So one of the things that we have done is we test persons, and they have to get 2 negative tests over a 48-hour period for us to say you don't have the virus, because many people are perfectly healthy, they have the virus, they're spreading it, but you don't know because you feel like there's nothing wrong. So we have to manage that very carefully also.
All right, that's good to know. Somebody is asking if it's true that there's a vaccine for this virus, because they heard that Cuba has a vaccine, and why can't Jamaica get that vaccine?
Right. So there are many pharmaceutical companies, many countries that are working towards a vaccine, but the projection is that you probably won't see one for another year, maybe a year and a half, because vaccines are not easily made. You have to test them. They test them on lab rats, and then they eventually test them on humans and so on. So it takes a while. The drug in Cuba is seen by some as can help. We have looked at it, our expert group here. We have not recommended it at this particular point in time. It wasn't a drug that was made for COVID. It was for something else. And there are a couple of drugs out there that they say were for other reasons, but they think it works with COVID. And the medical team is looking and exploring whether or not those help. It has to go through a process, because we don't want to recommend drugs for people that makes them worse,
right,
or doesn't help them at all. So that's part of the challenge. But right now we have no known vaccine, but I know a lot of countries are working on it. A lot of lab techs are working on it, scientists.
Good. They keep asking about these 17 people.
Yeah, well, I don't know which 17. I mean,
I think it's from the from the workers.
Oh well, yesterday we announced. Yes, yesterday I think we announced 20, and I think about the majority of those, I don't know if it's 15 or 17, were from the call center. I will check again today. We have done lots of tests. I mean, we have probably about 300 tests that we're now looking at whether they are positive or negative, or samples, I should say, samples that we're testing. A number of those are the call centers. We have done. We did, I think, yesterday we did over 250 samples collected. We have made contact with all the workers of the call center. And we're looking at a method now to quarantining a large percentage of them in an institution as part of managing the disease and the spread of it. And of course, we have to contact their family members, because we have over 60 positives. And we have to go to their homes and see who they were interacting with, and then we have to test those persons also. It's a big job in our Spice. It really is.
I can imagine. I can only imagine.
And sometimes the country may not understand what is happening behind the scenes, and we don't want to burden them with it. But when we tell people to stay put, it's because it makes our job and the job of the medical team that much easier, because when people move around, you can't find them. The other thing that I want to mention is that when people hear that someone is suspected, then the stigma, right? So for example, there's this controversy here now where we are being accused of allowing people to take public transport could spread if they go into public transport. The truth is, we have offered to pick people up. We have sent the buses to pick them up. Some of the persons do not want the buses or the ministry people to pick them up because they don't want the stigma, because the community is very edgy or
I see some people
nervous.
typing that. I see some people typing there say yes, that's true, that's true. So I guess they see
It's a
the
big
pickup
thing. So
going on.
one of the things I want you to help me with is to help get people to understand that COVID is not your fault. COVID is a disease like any other disease. COVID is a virus that has to be dealt with, treated. It's just like dengue. It's just that it's new. Dengue killed almost 80 people last year in Jamaica. It hospitalized almost 1,500 people. The only difference is that COVID is new, so we're working towards addressing it. But people should not hate people or attack people or threaten people or burn down people because they have COVID. What they must do is help them to seek the cure. Because guess what? Today for you, tomorrow for me. Because chances are, at some point in our lives, we could get it also. And it's so important to overcome the stigma issue. I really need as much help as possible because sometimes people literally hide. They don't want you to talk to them. They don't want to come forward because they think if people know that they have it. And in fact, we have had some cases where people have been threatened because we want them and we had asked them to come to us. So some people decide not to take the bus. They go on public transport in Kingston, in St. Catherine, sorry.
Right, that's good to hear. Are you able to elaborate on the 45 cruise ship people? I see a lot of people commenting about